Get ready for truth and transparency from an ocean of liberal tears. Welcome to the Blue Shark Show with your host, Mike Lang.
We're back for a campaign wrap-up. We had several of the candidates come in to do interviews to let the citizens know where they stood, let them know about themselves, some personal history, and they went great, had good response from them. Let's do a positive review for the races here in Hood County. And we're going to start with District Judge, 355th Court, and Brian Buffkin. Judge Buffkin came in to do an interview, and he has been out block walking. He's been standing at the polls, doing a great job.
I've said from the very beginning is I want to be the judge for this entire county, while also maintaining a conservative judicial philosophy. And so what that means very simply is I wait and hear the evidence. I'm fair to everybody. Never legislate from the bench. Don't engage in judicial overreach. And strictly construe the law as written and not add to it. But at the same time, I think that most of our county supports that. And I've got support from all different areas of this community who see the job that I'm doing and the type of judge that I want to be for this entire community.
You know, driving through the city and the county, I see his signs more often than almost everybody else. And watching him over the last couple months, he's really been putting the work in. And people are surprised when they open the door and he introduces himself as, "Hey, I'm Brian Buffkin. I'm your district judge." They say, "Well, you're the district judge and you're here on my porch asking for my vote?" They're not used to it.
Yeah, it speaks volumes when a candidate, whether they're the incumbent or not, shows up at your door and is willing to take the time to go out and face-to-face with the people, the citizens of Hood County, and talk to them and address any issues or concerns, answer any questions that they may have. I mean, that speaks volumes about a candidate and how much of a servant's heart they really, truly have.
And how much they listen while they're there, too. I think that's the thing that people enjoy the most is getting to have somebody, lend their ear. And in this case, a district judge is phenomenal.
Judge Buffkin has an opponent. Please go do your research and vote for who you think will be the most conservative. Let's move on to the next race, which is the County Court at Law race. We have Richard Haddix that came in for a video, did another outstanding job. He's got a lot of signs out in the county, and he's also been standing at the polls. Richard and his wife, Mary, have been working really hard, going to a ton of events. You see it on Facebook. You see him at the events. When elected, Richard, or if elected to the position of County Court at Law judge, what are some of the things that you're going to do?
Well, I want everybody to know, Mike, that it's all about fairness in our courts. Our courts have lost respect from the public lately and over the years, trying to do things or trying to write things into law that were not either supported by the Constitution or enacted upon by our legislators. I think as judges that we have to stand back and allow the other branches of government to do their job, let them make their decisions, and then stay in the courtroom where it's fairly done, where it's done objectively, where it's done without the prism of public interference or public influence, and where judges can call the balls and strikes that's necessary to see that the Constitution is legitimately enforced.
For Richard, it seems like it's a continuation of the life of service that he's led. Up until this point, the last 20 or so years he's been in private practice, but before that, he was our district attorney for about 16 years, a lot of successful prosecutions, took care of a lot of problems that were here, and he started out in public service back in the 82nd Airborne when he was a teenager.
Like you said, another continuation of a servant's heart. Here we have another candidate that clearly has a servant's heart and is a servant of the people. And I was out there at the polls the other day and was voting for my picks, and I saw Richard, but he was busy talking, so I made a point to go say hi to Mary while she was out there, and saw Katie Lang as well. So it's just great to see the candidates out there and available to the citizens to talk to face like that.
Please do your research on the candidates. Richard Haddix did do a video through us. Please look at the other video and decide on between Richard and his opponent. The next race that is up of the judges is the county judge, and Mark Shackleford came in for an interview, did a good job, was very adamant about following the Constitution and doing what was right constitutionally, and he said he would not have shut down Hood County or even put in a mask mandate. Mark, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I moved here with my family in 2014. We wanted to escape the mess that is the Metroplex. We've been living in Plano. We wanted to get away from the traffic, the crowded, poor schools, and get to a place that was more focused on freedom and liberty and had more people that thought the way we think about society and about our country. And I wanted to get involved in politics and do what I could to help. And quite frankly, I am shocked the way our current county judge has completely gone against his oath to the Constitution with these unconstitutional shutdowns and mandates that he signed off on. And I'm here to stop that. I'm here to fight for everyone's rights in Hood County.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't beat around the bush. You know where he stands on the issues, and I love that about him. I think it's a great way to be transparent so the voters know exactly what they're going to get. And we are definitely in the times where we need strong leaders like that to be in those positions that are going to safeguard us from unconstitutional mandates.
And he is proven to stand under pressure.
So look at Mark Shackleford's video that he did on our show and research the other candidates. There are several other candidates for county judge. So let's move on to the next race, which will be county clerk. And that's Katie Lang, who you saw on this show, that also did a video and talked about her qualifications. And I think one of the things that stood out for me was the 5-star award on how efficient her office has been for every year that she's been there, 6, 7+ years. On your Facebook page, re-elect Katie Lang, Hood County Clerk. It says there that you've won a 5-star award for your office. Can you explain that?
Yes, I'm honored that our office received the 5-star exemplary award. It's from the state of Texas, and it honors the clerk's offices that are the highest in the state as far as efficiencies with birth certificates and death certificates. And I'm very proud of my clerks for earning that.
Well, that's great news for the citizens of Hood County.
Yes, and the customer service is one of the top priorities for that award, and I'm so proud of my clerks for having such excellent customer service in both of my offices.
Speaks volumes, to manage an office and to manage an office that deals with several different departments in the county clerk's spectrum of things that they handle. That's quite something to be proud of. And it's no easy task when you have to manage that many people. And when you can do so efficiently and save the taxpayers money while doing so, it's great.
And also while taking bold stances on things like election integrity and keeping marriage between one man and one woman.
A great job, and Katie has a few opponents. Please do your research. You can look at Katie's video on our show and get the information you need. Let's move along to the next race. Commissioner Precinct 4, Dave Eagle, came in for an interview, did another good job, and of course, Dave is the incumbent, so we have exactly what we need from Dave as far as his voting record and how he acts in Commissioner's Court. And I can tell you what, he is the most conservative on the bench, and he has been a true taxpayer champion for people here in Hood County. What leads you to say on your signs that you're a conservative Republican?
Yeah, Mike, thanks for asking that. And first of all, one of the big issues that I wanted to tackle when I came into office was what I would just call under the umbrella of sunlight. I wanted to cast light on what's going on within your government, and I brought in live streaming of the Commissioner's Court since I've been in, as well as open mic where citizens can actually come up to the podium during Commissioner's Court and speak about whatever subject they want to speak about that's important to them related to county business. I have fought hard against closing the Hood down, the Hood County down when the COVID shutdowns came out. I fought against that, and once more the transparency sunlight aspect of it is once that was in place, it brought out the true colors of who believes what. So I fought very hard against closing down Hood County, and I've fought for small businesses here as well as for the citizens in that respect.
One thing I really like about Dave is that he has done exactly what he said he would do. He's made good on all of his campaign promises as far as I can see. And for any politician, that is not only a feat, but it's also remarkable.
He takes pride in this public service job that he has as an elected official for county commissioner. And, it's just great to see people that run on these campaign promises follow through with them. And we've definitely seen that with Dave, and he's been a great conservative leader on the county commissioner's court.
He also leads in areas outside of the commissioner's court. He's been known to make appearances at city council and school board meetings as well, always fighting for his constituents.
Yeah, it's definitely something that it's a positive for the community when you can work with the other entities like the city and the school board as well, because we all live in the same community. We all have to work together on a lot of the issues that our community faces.
So that's Dave Eagle. He's your current commissioner, Precinct 4. Dave has a record. He's backed up that record. Go look at the county commissioner court meetings, and you can see for yourself. Look at the video he's done here on Blue Shark. And Dave has an opponent, so go do your research and vote accordingly. Let's go to our next race. Jeff Kelly is running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2. And Jeff came in for an interview here on Blue Shark. Did a great job. He's got law enforcement background. He's got, he's service oriented, and he's been out knocking some doors, standing at the polls like some of the others. So he seems to be doing a really good job. When you get elected, if you get elected, what do you think you're going to do differently than the current JP?
The only thing I can tell you is meeting with so many people, knocking on doors and in the grocery store, shaking hands and talking to people on the street and listening to their comments and concerns. The things that I'm going to do as Justice of the Peace is, first, I'm going to make myself available to the public. As elected officials, we should show our faces more than once every 4 years when it comes time to get reelected. I'm going to work full-time. It's going to be a full-time job. We're going to keep a clear court docket. We are going to work on getting the dockets cleared out and the cases heard in a manner that they should be done. I'm going to treat everybody with dignity and respect. But foremost, there will be no favors. I believe once a court starts showing favoritism to a person or an entity, it loses all of its integrity. So we're going to run a clean court.
I've had the opportunity to speak with him several times, and he truly is a genuine person. He's great to talk to, and he really, truly cares about this community, wants to do what's right. And, it's great to see that service-oriented person willing to step up and take a leadership position. Should he be elected, I feel like he would do a great job.
And Jeff has had a very neat background from what I can tell, and, fairly diverse, starting with being a volunteer firefighter when he was a teenager, and then moving on to law enforcement, where he eventually got into doing things like arson investigations.
And Jeff's done a video with us, so go look at Jeff's video on Blue Shark, and he's, known as the people's judge is what he has on his push card. So take a look at that, and he has an opponent that's the incumbent. Do your research. Take a look at that race. And let's move on to another JP race. It's Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3. We had Stephen Barnett come in to do an interview, and Stephen did a great job. There are a lot of signs out from Stephen Barnett. He must have been block walking. He's in the medical field. He's very family-oriented, so he's got a lot of good points already with him. Stephen, I noticed on some of your campaign material, your tagline for your campaign is, "I'm not running for office, I'm running for you." Can you explain that, what you mean by that to the viewers?
That is very personal for me. I feel like, yes, I want the JP, I want to run for office, but that's not what I'm in this for. I'm not in it to run for the office. I'm in it to run for the people. That way I can work with the people, talk with the people. If the people want to pray, I pray. If they need help, I want to be there to help them and give them the answers they need. I've had people in the past have questions that ask me things about different situations, and I do everything in my power that I can to get that answer for them, no matter how minor it may seem to some people or how major it may be. And if I can't get the answer for them, I will find a person who can talk to them and give them the answer that they're looking for. That's why I want to run for it. I'm not in it for the politics. I don't care for that. I care for the people, and I'm here to serve the people, and that's my goal.
Stephen Barnett is really a hardworking guy. I think right now he's working his day job, and then he's on call for Wiley's funeral home every night, and then he's been spending hours every day. If you live in Precinct 3, you've probably seen him at your doorstep, if not in person, then on your Ring doorbell. But, he's been putting in a lot of hours to earn this position and to earn the trust of the people.
Yeah, speaking of block walking, he actually showed up at our house where I live, which is not very common for candidates to be block walking out where I live. It's not like a normal housing tract. We're pretty rural, and most people have gates and long driveways, and half the time you can't see the house from the street. But he made a point. He made the effort to come out there, and that really spoke volumes to me that a candidate would really try and make a point to reach all the people in his precinct. And Precinct 3 it's pretty spread out like that, where you're going to have diverse homes that you may not necessarily take the time to block walk at because it's not an easy neighborhood. But he took the time and came to our door, and we got to meet and speak with him, and it was a really great experience.
And along with JP3, Justice of the Peace Precinct 3, we have Stephen Barnett that did a video, and we also have Michelle London that came in and did a video, did an excellent job. And I would also suggest that on Michelle London, you look at some of the forums too.
Mm-hmm. So Michelle, in your background, what would help you be a good JP for JP3?
So part of my personality is that I do not judge people based on appearances, based on their income level, based on their background or their particular set of circumstances. I have kind of a blindness to that, and I'm not alone. This does tend to run in my family. So I get tired, and we all get tired of hearing about people in a court setting that feel like they are perceived guilty instead of innocent until proven guilty. And that is not something that I naturally lean toward. I don't have a tendency to view people as guilty.
And I haven't had a chance to personally speak with Michelle, but she's been at a lot of the forums, and she has some really interesting ideas, and some of the things that she says have really made a light bulb go off. So if you have a chance, watch some of the forums, and you'll see where she stands on a lot of the issues.
Once again, that's JP3. There's another opponent in JP3, but both Stephen Barnett and Michelle London came in to do an interview through Blue Shark. So take a look at that race, do your due diligence, research, and before you vote, just make sure you get the most conservative person in your mind for that position. Let's move on to the GOP chair. Now, this person is going to be the chair of the Republican Party that sits and presides over the executive committee. So that's a really big, important job for Hood County moving forward here in the future. Here today with Steve Biggers. And Steve, you're running for GOP chair of Hood County. And Steve, you mentioned gatekeeper, and that kind of brings up, as a GOP chair, of course, the platform, the Republican platform, is, the ideals of the Republican Party.
Exactly.
So as the gatekeeper, what do you plan on doing as far as accountability for the elected officials?
When I looked at the chairman, the GOP chairman, it is a partisan position. We believe in the Republican platform. That's what we stand on. And to me, there are three facets of that position. One would be the mechanics of the election, just making sure the election went smoothly and fairly, people involved, volunteers, that sort of thing. Second would be the exposure in the county, getting our GOP platform out there in the county more, and that's not being done now. We have a very active county with events and things like that. And third, the one that you were just speaking to, is having the chair position along with the precinct chair positions hold our elected officials accountable.
What I like about Steve is that he's looking to not only take this role very seriously and maximize the opportunities for the Republicans in the county, but also to be doing it full time. And that, when it comes to things like party discipline, is huge.
Yeah, because you're leading the party, basically, of the Hood County Republican Executive Committee and the other precinct chairs. And to do it right, you really do need someone who's going to be full-time. To be an example for others to follow and be there should the community have any outreach needs. Having a good, strong leader like Steve Biggers is going to serve the Republican Party well.
And Steve Biggers came in to do an interview on Blue Shark, of course, so please go look at that interview. And he's got an opponent, so do your research, look at both people, and then vote accordingly. I want to thank the candidates that came in to do the Blue Shark interviews so the people could get to know the candidates and their candidates, and if they want to vote for them or not, or do more research, or even contact them. When you get into politics, you want your candidate to show initiative, to go out and meet as many people to get their message out. That is their chance and their time to shine and show the people what they're made of. And if they can't do that, what do you think they're going to do if and when they get elected? So please do your research and have fun and go vote. Shark Show out.